Hello, crafty friends and fans of the Tilted Brick. This is Angie again, coming to you again with my uniquely creative mixed media album. And just a reminder of what we worked on previously. It's dry, and all those fun colors are really showing through. And I wanted to continue with this because I really was intrigued and smitten with the really pretty purple color, which was this grape of the Color Blast spray, the Spice Color Artist ink, the Coral Shimmer spray. So I'm just going to come back and start another page, continuing on with where we have the stencil, and with a few other techniques and fun things, and just see what kind of play we can have today. I did, if you notice, find my palette, so I'm ready. I also found my water drop tool. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these colors that I enjoyed yesterday. This one is the Olive Grove. I'm just going to take a little bit of it and put it in my palette because we're going to use it for painting or splattering. I'm going to do some methods of adding color to the page without adding so much water, so that I don't get this little seepage through, but also so we can explore some other techniques. This one I believe is Emerald. And we may need to add more if we want a brighter, more vibrant color. We're just going to see. Again, this one was the amber. This one was the really beautiful orange color. And is very vibrant. There we go. Okay. And then we're able to, remember, paint with this, and we can add some water to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some of this as well. And I have the shimmer spray. I'm going to go ahead and lay it down so that the mica starts coming out of those little corners so that it's ready when we're ready to use it. And then I have the color spray. Again, I'm going to add some color here. And I may add some directly to the page as well, but I also want to start by doing this so that we can get started. Okay. Next, I'm going to take my water and add it to the powders. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because if you noticed yesterday, whenever I sprayed the water on it, it kind of splattered everywhere. And so I'm just trying to avoid the splatter. So now I'll take my paintbrush and I'm just going to mix so that all these are ready for us to add the color to the page. And of course, if I want to water these down a little bit and make the colors less vibrant, that's going to be easy to do this way. So I can take some water here, put it in this one, and then we can just add a little bit so we can tone down our color a little bit. Okay, that's my first color ready. Let me get a paper towel, and I'm going to switch colors. This is the Emerald. Oof, that is gorgeous. And then we're going to go with the Olive Grove, which is a really pretty green that has a gold shimmer to it. Okay, so all of those are ready. One of the techniques that I had yesterday that I couldn't find my glaze is what I want to start with this morning. So I'm going to start with this stencil again, because I really liked it. And I'm going to put it, I believe, on this edge of the page. Actually, before I do that, I want to add some color to the page. So I am going to take some of this. We're going to start with a little bit of color first. gonna splatter. Okay. Now I have orange fingers. You should have seen my fingers yesterday. And I will add a little, actually I'll take my sprayer because that's easier. A little bit of water just to get this to kind of move out a little bit. Give it some movement. There we go. And we're going to take our dryer. We're going to go ahead and dry. I like how it's bursting through there. This has just such a really bright, beautiful color. Spread out some of that color. Whoops, sorry. Sorry for that loud noise there. A little bit more. Let that go out a little bit more. That one. Just helps spread the color. I'm going to try to keep this one a little bit drier than yesterday, just so we can see how that works. This is such a really beautiful, bright color. Okay. Now, it's almost all the way dry. Now I'll add another color on here. I think I want to add this grape color. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. Now that's starting to run through a little bit, and we can help it out. And this is just play. I don't really have a end product in mind. I'm just adding some color, the colors that I was really taken with yesterday. And I wanted to come back and see what we could do. What can we create with this? A little bit more up here. Okay. And again, I'm going to add some water just to help that kind of blend, move. Okay. And back to the dryer. We'll get this nice and dry, and then we'll add the next step. Maybe we'll do two different things, one on the left and one on the right, and then compare and see which one we like the best. Okay, so we've got this laid down. There's some shimmer there. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm going to try to hold it up here and see if we can capture. See that shine? It's got a nice shine, which is much easier to see in life. Okay, so get that back in the screen for you. Now I'm going to take my stencil and I'm going to apply it to the page here. And I have some Distress Micro Glaze. It's water resistant sealer. And I just have a little blendy tool with the foam on top. You just stick it in here. And then we're going to put it through the stencil. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, we're just playing with different techniques and seeing what we get and how nice it'll be when we're done. Okay, there's that. So now I'm going to remove this. And I believe what I have read is to take a little clean paper towel and kind of rub over just to make sure it's on the page. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our next color. Sorry that I'm moving that so much. I'm going to take, let's see, I think I'll take the shimmer spray. So we had it on its end. Now we can kind of see almost all of the color is out of the crevices there, so it's nicely mixed in here. So now we can spray it on our page, and let's see if the microglaze worked the way it's supposed to. And we'll add some water. And then we're going to dry it, and then we'll use a paper towel. You can already see it's beading up in a lot of places, which means that it is waterproof there. So we'll dry it where it's not waterproof, and then we will wipe it off with our paper towel and see what happens. I'm loving this look of the droplets on there, though, I have to be honest. So let's just see what we get when we're done. Let that color soak in and dry where it can. And then where it's waterproof, we'll wipe it up with the towel. I'm already starting to see the little rays of where, you know, the color wasn't. So that's really cool. It's probably hard for you to see. Let me see if I can lift this up one-handed and see if you can see those little rays coming off of there, just barely. It's not quite as noticeable as I would like, but it will be when we're finished. So I can see where it's dry in most places. A couple of more places when I want it to dry just a little bit more. And then we'll take our paper towel. Okay. And so now we should be able to take our clean part of our paper towel and just dab. And now, I think because I used the shimmer spray, it's a little bit harder to see, but you can see the rays coming down where the microglaze wasn't. Which again, in real life is really an amazing look. We'll do it again on this side so that it's even more noticeable. So I'll take this and I'll put it on the edge here. And because we don't have color underneath, I think it'll be a lot more noticeable. So we're just going to add, again, the microglaze through the stencil to the page. Oops, I'm going to add a little bit more to my foam blender. And I'm really just kind of pressing and twisting just to make sure I get it through the stencil onto the page. That's a good reason to use this domed brush, the domed foam, because that will go into those crevices easier. Okay, we have that. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. And now we will spray again, but this time I will use the purple. And now you can really see how it is resisting that color, which is another nice effect for your project. So I'm just lightly drying so that I can dab up here where it's resisting without taking up the color that's on the rest of the page. You don't want to do this too long because this, I believe, will melt. So I don't want to get it too hot so that it melts into the page. But I am wanting to dry some of that other off. And you want to use the clean portion of your towel. And we're just going to that. See, look how well that took the color off. How fun is that? Super fun, right? It's gorgeous. I love it. Okay, so now we have kind of even, right? You can't really see it on this side, but I do have the shimmer on this side. And I have the rays on both sides. I'm going to add some of the orange over here to really make it even in color. I'll start with this one, splatter a little bit. Dry my fingers, a little water, dry it, and then we'll come back in and do a few more things. A lot of quiet time, sorry. We're just playing this morning, just experimenting to see what we can do. I really do love these colors together though. Okay, so now what I would like to do is I just want to add a little bit more, oops, good grief, I'm just moving this everywhere, aren't I? I want to add a little bit more texture and interest to it. So I'm going to take my stamp set, and again, I'm just using this indigo blue hibiscus set that we have in the shop. I like it because it has these different textures, has this big floral image. And I'm going to take my VersaFine Clair. This is really good ink that has gives a lot of detail, picks up a lot of detail. So when you have a stamp set or stamp that's really intricate, it is going to pick up and stamp quite easily all the little details in your image. I'm not using a stamp positioner today because I don't necessarily need this to be perfect. I just want to get some additional texture on the page. So I'm going to place this right here. Just press, lift up, see if I got enough of the image for my liking, and there we go. There's the flower, the text, the little grid on the side, and then I will add over here, just gonna add some of the extra for texture. Oops. And a little piece right here. And then I'm gonna take this little Moroccan tile looking one. I hold this so I don't flip the book up as much, right? Okay, and lastly, I think I will take this little text piece and I'm just going to add little bits of the text. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This VersaFine Clair is waterproof, so it's not going to run. But I'm not even trying to make sure that the words are on there perfectly. I'm just trying to get some additional texture down on the page before we do the next step. And now this one, I just wanted to take a bit of this color and I want to enhance the flower that's on here. So here we are. I'm just taking this grape spray and I'm just going to fill in the flower. Just to give this a little oomph. Also in this book, and you can see how the where that resist is, it's still resisting. So part of the flower is going to be there and part of it's not. But I'm just trying to give a little more definition to this flower where I can. Okay. And this here. And that, let's see, turn this over so you can see the flower better. Here's my flowers right here. But a lot of this flower right here is in the no man's land, which is fine. This is a mixed media little art project, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I just wanted to add some additional details. And then coming down here, we have two little buds. Okay, now I'll come back in with some green for my leaf. And of course, some of that leaf is in the no man's land. I think if I wanted that to not be there, all I have to do is heat up the project. And then wipe that down and that will come off. But for now, I'm just getting the parts that are able to take the color, just to get that little bit of texture in there, a little bit of color addition. And I'm just holding this just to see where a good place to add the color would be. And then there's a leaf over here. Okay. And there's a stem right here. And we're going to let that dry a little bit. It's not picking up that flower as boldly as I would like, but that's partially because I did a lot of that distress. But we're still adding some interest and some color here. And then on my edges, I want to add some of this emerald color. Just to soften the colors a little bit. Again, this one's the emerald. Which you have to put quite a bit on there in order to get the color darker, because it really does blend into the water quite nicely and gets very soft. Okay, a little bit more in here. Okay. And then I'm going to add some of that teal emerald color on the other side. And you can still see over here where the resisting is happening. Okay, just gonna let it sit there and kind of soak in where it can so we can get some of that really pretty emerald color. All right, so there is that for now. I'm going to dry a little bit. And I just really like how these colors kind of went together. I thought they blended together quite nicely. You can see where we have the copper is shiny, and it's a nice contrast to this bright amber color, which is not shiny. Has a bit of a shimmer to it, but it's definitely not the shimmer of the copper. And then you can see the lines over here for the copper on top of that bright amber. So I'm going to let this continue drying. And that's just one thing that I wanted to show you today, was using the microglaze with your stencil so that you get a different look. Painting with the different colors that we had. Instead of just spraying them on the page, we painted with them. I'm just going to dry this a little bit so it doesn't take as long. And that's today's art journal using some Color Blast. Again, I used the grape color, the sienna color shimmer spray, the spice color artist ink, and then up here in the top we have our mica powders and our shimmer dust, and that gave us this nice, vibrant, really beautiful project. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment or to come into the Tilted Brick in Longmont. We'll be happy to help you find these supplies, to answer any questions that you have, and to take suggestions for the next video and or demonstration. My next demonstration will be in the shop will be the glimmer and hot foil, and that will be on the 22nd. But I will be in the shop on the 15th just to answer questions, and those demonstrations are from 11 to 2. And thanks for joining me today. Have a great day, everyone.